Welcome into another edition of the Gator Nation Football Podcast Film Review. I'm James DiVirgilio, and on today's episode, we'll take a look at Florida's defense versus Texas A&M. The Gators defense did not get the performance they wanted on the road, especially in the first 17 minutes of the game where the Gators gave up 21 points, then largely played very well until an 8-plus minute drive knocked them out of the game entirely. I'm going to take a look at several of the plays that led to that result. If you want to see the full film review, it is available on Patreon, where $15 a month does give you full access to both the offense and defensive film reviews each week, all season long. The link is in the description. Just become a member of the GNFP, and the full reviews will be available for you. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at what led to another loss on the road for Billy Napier in this one. The very first play of the game here for A&M, and wouldn't you know it, but Florida lines up with Thornton and Castell here on the slot. We've talked all season long about opposing teams that at least can pass the ball functionally, attacking either Thornton or Castell. And in this case, A&M comes out with a formation where they get both of them. I presume they knew this and game planned for this exact look. And then somehow, despite the fact that Florida is bracketing with these two safeties, neither one of them is going to get on top of this route, and even Castell, who's underneath it, is way too far underneath this route to be able to stop it. So an extremely disappointing start for Florida's defense right here. It's a simple play fake that is not even a good one. It does enough to still get Castell coming up. We don't have anybody here high. So pretty aggressive look here for 1st and 10 to just kind of take a step forward, knowing that you're also going to be running with the 2 if he goes vertical. And the 2 goes vertical, and then off your screen they go. Castell's going to wind up being way under this. Thornton's not going to be on top of it. Clean pocket, let her rip, and then there you go, right? Again, bracket. Somebody on top, somebody in trail. That would be a bracket. This right here would be bracketing this guy, except of course, right, there's nobody here, right? There is no person there. No bracket there. That's a fail. Again, Florida's safeties have just been a weak spot on this team for so long. And right here on film again, continues to be a weak spot. At least Thornton makes a tackle there and stops this from being a touchdown. But man, it's a tough look. On the film review, we definitely try not to make anything personal. So we're not going to make it personal. We're just going to say what the film shows. And that's obviously that Florida safeties have been struggling on film for many years now. And obviously 14 here has been struggling on film virtually every game he plays, which is, it's hard to be a top defense if you're going to give up plays like these, where you're in a bracket coverage. You should be absolutely covering that route, and you get cooked. 1st and goal now, second play, another good scout by A&M, and in the red zone, going to hit Florida with a guard H-back counter here. Going to pull Miles Graham over here as he's going to be assigned with the running back, who's going to motion out here, take Florida's best run stopper out of the frame. And Florida's going to have the proper numbers here. You've got Thornton in the box, but again, Florida's safeties just leave a lot to be desired here playing these positions. When you play split safety, your strong safety needs to be a dog down in the box, and Florida just has not had one. That's not to harp on Thornton. I know he's doing his best, and he's adequate in many respects here, but he's got to get in the run fit here, and Florida in general has got to get in the run fit here. Here comes your counter. You need Gums to strike this right here, and then we got to fill and make a tackle. And there's your strike from Gums, right? Strike him, and now we got to get a strike here. And we're slow with Jaden here to get into this play, and now we need Thornton to finish up. But this slow-moving train, as we've described it on the film review now for years, you do not want this to happen. Ideally, you strike that so hard you kind of derail the train, and then he comes in, strikes that block as well, and now your free man, right, numbers-wise, this is your numbers guy. You need him. He's the unblocked man. He's got to make a tackle, can get in there. So a couple of things could happen. You get a better strike here. Right, you might close this off and maybe he makes a tackle here, but instead we get blown out of that hole there. And a nice move by Marcel. It's a nice move here. He's going to squeeze in here, and of course, if you get a complete seal like this, 4-on-4, right, then it's tough. And this is going to be tough for any safety to make this play. You're not a linebacker. You're a safety. You're an undersized guy. You pick your gap. You walk in the end zone. So just 2 horror show plays from the Gators defense here. The first one, they were in the right look to be able to stop it. Really not good execution. This one, just a good scheme that took advantage of what Florida was going to do personnel-wise, and they get a walk-in touchdown. A&M driving down the field now, and the script is strong with the Aggies on this one. Split back formation here. We got 2 up top. Looks like we're good here, but what's going to happen between Denson and Miles Graham if they, for example, motion him out and then let's say send him on a route? Who is going to pick up who and what are the rules? Florida's going to bust the coverage here. Denson comes in thinking he's taking the running back. Miles Graham thinks he's on the running back. Now, most likely in this situation, right? I don't know for sure because it depends on how Florida's going to cover this, but most likely you would have Denson taking him and then Graham taking him. That's the most likely scenario here given how Florida's lined up, but I cannot tell you for sure. That's really important. Don't put in the comments that this is what happened or that happened because I don't know what happened for sure. What I do know what happened for sure is the busted coverage right here, right? Somewhere in here, Florida busts this, and then there you go. There's the bust. When you got 2 guys covering 1 guy, that's a coverage bust. Whose fault it is, I don't know, but what I do know is A&M is cooking on the script right now, and we can see, we recognize, uh-oh, this is not good. I'm probably not responsible for that, but if I am, I'm in trouble, and these 2 guys are now, right, uh-oh, Denson's like, hey, where are we going, Miles? And Miles is just locked in right here. But no one's locked in over here. 2 vertical routes running off the space. Clean pocket. Step up. Make a throw to a wide open receiver. The third absolutely wide open receiver. These 2 are in the end zone covering people. Here's Denson underneath. Miles Graham off screen. Walk in tutty. All right, that's as easy as it gets for A&M. Good scripting. Good game planning. Clearly aware of where Florida may make mistakes. They asked some questions. Florida was unable to answer them. Same drive now. 2nd down and 3. 2 minutes gone here in the 2nd quarter. A&M ran power successfully against Florida. Start with your eyes up here first and watch how they're just going to explode Florida's D-line here. Agabe gave some shine last week on the Film Review 33 and actually had a nice game in this game in parts as well. He's going to get cast off first here, a little touch by the center, then the guard, and then the H-back is going to come and just slam him out of the play. Bam! I mean, look at that, right? Just 1, 2, 3-piece combo right there. And that is how you blow somebody off the line of scrimmage. On the A&M Film Review, they are going to be absolutely eating that one up, right? But let's look at what else is happening because Florida does have basically 8 guys in the box. Devin Moore is your, hanger defender here. These guys are committed to the pass, but you got 8 guys in the box here. Florida's expecting run. A&M's heavy, right? Heavy personnel here. 12 personnel. They are maxed out here with big bodies, and they are going to take advantage of this with some power running using that O-line. I mean, we're turned away here, locked up here, locked up here, locked up here. We're free here, getting blown away here. And now you got a corner that's off the play, and you got Jaden Robinson trying to find his way to get in there. Right up the gut, there's Robinson, there's Denson. And look, running plays are designed to leave the player they're least worried about blocked. It's a good design, right? You're not worried about the nickel coming in here in the back door trying to make this tackle on power. You'll live with that. You'll live with that. You want him to be the one that has to make the tackle. Let's instead try to get ahead of steam. Let's knock out the linebackers, knock out the D linemen. They got 8 in the box, but let's try to let these guys who don't necessarily tackle as often tackle. Now we're out the gate, and now we're heads up with 14, right? It's just 14 right here in the goal line. Let's get engaged and make a tackle. Let's stop the damage here. Hold them to a field goal. That's not going to happen. 14's going down. 8's going in. Tutty A&M, right? Tutty A&M here. Let's watch this all in one shot. Power run by A&M. H-back coming around, whamming the edge. Clean gap there through the A. Safety miss. Touchdown A&M, 21-14. The good news is Florida's defense is going to put the clamps on for most of the rest of this film review, but really a horror start from Ron Roberts and crew in this one on the road. Second half now, 3rd and 7. A&M does Florida a solid and missed that field goal after our last play, so the score is 21-14. So Florida hanging in there, just down 7, still in this game, looking to get a stop here on 3rd down and 7. A&M in their own territory. A&M going to go back to the old bread and butter. Let's try to attack Florida's safeties, and let's try to attack Cormani, something we saw last week with Texas, where they had a lot of success attacking Cormani. Going to motion receiver in, and he is going to run a vertical route like this, basically a skinny post, and you're going to get essentially really just a go route. A small nod to the end here. Just a little bit of step to the outside, but then really a go route here. So a 2-way on the safety, and then see if you can get Cormani to mess up the coverage on this end, or Castell, one or the other. Ask some questions on the back end. See what happens on 3rd down and 7. A&M not electing to hand the ball off here or run a screen, perhaps maybe like Billy would, but going to take a shot, right? There we go. Florida just going to bring 4. A little bit of a spy here on Marcel with Graham. And so far, so good. We got Denson walling this off. You've got Castell now picking up the release of the number 2 receiver. And here is this step to the out where Cormani feels like he's on it. Again, I think teams have seen that Cormani will go for the first route people give him. He tends to overplay, perhaps even hero ball some of these early routes. He's got a good feel for it, and he's on top of it, except now the out and up, which worked against him versus Texas, is now going to work against him again in this situation. Clean pocket. Marcel's looking at it. That's exactly the play they want. Let her rip, and then this is open. Now you've got you got Cormani pointing at Castell, but Castell's over here with the number 2. Which is most likely the right move, by the way, here from Castell. Again, I don't know what coverage Florida's in, can't say for sure. But most likely in that situation, he is going to be running with the 2. A little bit of a switch release there when they motion over the 1 to this side. But regardless, he's almost certainly still going to run with the first vertical that comes out of that, right? And that was going to be the 1 who then became the 2. And then, of course, he becomes the 1 running up this side here. Regardless, Cormani is on him. He cannot expect help here when there's 2 verticals on this route. Here's your post route, running them off, right? That's got to be what he takes first. And Cormani pointing at Castell, I just kind of find to be interesting. That's definitely, it's not on 14 there. And that's going to be 6. That's going to be 6. If not 6, we're going to get tackled somewhere around here. But thankfully, Marcel Reed, which he's been doing this all season long, just overcooks that ball. And yeah, that's the look of that's a touchdown, 28-14. Florida dodging bullets in the back end. We've dodged some before. Marcel not vibing it. Like, you just don't get guys more open than that. Your primary receiver, everything you want, does not come through. So Florida survives that play, not being 6, and stays in this game 21-14. So look, of course, a play caller who just got everything he wanted, but did not get 6, right? Just stay calm. All right, guys, we're punting. Yeah, little head shake there. Little bit of a nod. Look at the replay. Yeah, just a bummer, right? Either way, Florida survives that one. 4th quarter now, A&M threatening to take a 2-score lead, where Florida's offense has been unable to do much of anything. A significant moment in this game, to say the least. It is 3rd down and 7, an opportunity again for the Gators to get a stop, but even a stop may not be enough. Florida 3-on-2 over here, and then 2-on-2 plus a 3-on-2 most likely down here as well. Running back in the fold, going to be probably accounted for there. So Florida has the numbers here in pass, right? They're not going to get fooled on this, and this is going to be a total force from Reed. If you're Reed and you're opening up here, right away you can see Castell's already favoring the release of your number 1 receiver, and you know that your number 2, of course, is on a little pivot route here, which Denson's going to be on. But you know that this is your vertical route, and you already see him moving to slide over there. That's where your eyes are going. This is where, of course, you pull your quarterback to the sideline and say, what exactly did you think you saw there? Like, what was compelling about that look? Because that is not a compelling look. And again, from the start, Castell went there. So good job by Castell. Do your job. Hey, you know what? Do your job and good things can happen. Do your job and you get a chance to make an opportunity if the other team is going to make a mistake. That's what you're looking for. Opportunity given here. Of course, if you're Marcel Reed, you're going to want to make this throw instead and pick up a 1st down, but he's going for glory, and glory he will not have. Castell makes a really nice pick. This is a great pick from Castell. Great hands from a safety. Elevate, grab, get 2 feet in bounds. Great pick from 14. Look, I love giving 14 some shine. A lot of time on film review, he's not the one getting shine, and again, it's tough on film to show what's there and have to kind of consistently be like, hey, look, 14 is just not getting the job done, which I don't think that he is. But when he does something nice, of course, we want to celebrate that too, right? Each individual play and then your entire body of work should dictate whether or not you're on the field, and should also dictate what you're trying to get better at as a player. But in this case here, excellent ball skills, excellent pick, and a huge turning point in this game for the Gators, now resetting the game in the 4th quarter and giving Florida new life. It seems like every game Florida plays, they get plenty of chances to stay in the game and make something happen, but ultimately they cannot do it. All right, that's going to do it for this film review. A&M takes care of Florida. They do go 6-0 for the first time since 2016. And, of course, it is Mike Elko's second year at A&M. So for those of you that are aware of the 3-year test and you know how much I prefer that, another example, of course, of how it does not take coaches 5, 6, 7, 8 years to build programs. They do it in less than 3 if they are winners. If not, they are probably not going to be winners at the school that they are at. So A&M and Elko trending up. Defensive chess match here goes to Elko versus Billy. His specialty defense wins versus Billy's specialty, in quotes here, of offense. And Florida takes yet another road loss. Beyond par for the course for the Billy Napier era. But what can we do but bring you the film review each and every week as we go through this journey together. I certainly hope you enjoyed this video as much as you can enjoy one like this. But again, we're doing this together, so there is some small consolation with that. As always, I will be back with you next week, breaking down the film of Mississippi State. Let me know in the comments if anything you want to see in particular as we move through this season. As always, go Gators. See you next time.